to the 7-day Envisioning the Future exercise, where I, Sarah, teach you a surefire 7-step method for bringing those visions of yours into clear focus. So you can not only dream up what you want in life, but you can also plan action steps to make it a reality. So my goal is, as I've said in the previous video, is to be that catalyst you need for awakening your personal vision so that you can bridge that gap between where you are now to ultimate fulfillment, and to give you a greater sense of purpose because your personal vision is that springboard for you to make more meaningful contribution in life. Now, because this is a step-by-step video process, if you missed the first video, I want you to push that pause button, and you can find the last video either on my YouTube channel, or you can go to my Facebook group called Fulfillment, Personal Development for Purpose, Awareness, and Joy, and just scroll down through the news feed. It should be there. I'll go ahead and include the YouTube link for the video in the description below as well. So the last video, we dug into the past a bit. We uncovered some of those peak experiences and important milestones to you, and of course those important life lessons that help you to embrace the future to come. I hope you've got your notes handy because we're going to build upon step 1, and this is where we go into step 2, what matters to you most. Speaking of values, I'm gonna bug you about this again. If you haven't already, download and complete my One Step Closer to Fulfillment Core Values workbook, where you can identify your core values. You can download this by joining my Facebook group that I mentioned above, if you're not already a member, of course. Or you can download it by going to www.soulandwonder.com and subscribing to our emailing list. You get a bunch of other free goodies too, so I encourage you to do that. So, step 2. This is where we get into values, clarifying what matters to you most. All right, let's get busy. In step 2, I'd like for you to examine your peak experience and your important milestones you wrote about in the last step, and examine them for your personal values. These may not be your core values that you've identified recently, but that's okay. Make a list of the values that you notice made themselves apparent in those peak experiences and milestones that you wrote about in the last video. Remember, if you need to, push pause so that you can write without being interrupted. I actually encourage that because silence is when we have the space to really get to know ourselves. So, push pause. Now I would like for you to take your core values presently in your life and make a list of 5 to 7 of your most important core values at this point. Obviously, they're all important. They're your core values. These are something that's with you for your entire life, but I want you to prioritize them for the sake of the next question. Just for kicks and giggles, I'll share with you my 7 core values. I've got knowledge, self-awareness, contribution, altruism, spirituality, wisdom, and love. Now, if you notice, a lot of these values include other values that we hold just as equally important, but we narrow it down by using one word. For example, contribution. That also covers values that are important to me, like helping others or making a difference, but it can be summarized in one word, contribution. Also, love, that can be romance, romantic love. It can also be love for your family and friends, but also love for your fellow human beings. So as you can see, I've grouped what's most important to me into one word because it's easier for us to use in these exercises and to simplify it and understand it. Now, after you've made your list of core values in the correct order of what's most important to you at this point in your life, you've also made a list of values that you notice were apparent in your past, those peak experiences and milestones. I have the last question for you for today's step. After reflecting on your values from the past and the present, which value is most important to you right now at this very moment during this envisioning process? Obviously, all of your core values are super important, practically your entire life, like I'd mentioned, but sometimes one or two really stick out according to different circumstances. For example, I typically hold my value spirituality probably for the past, almost 10 years maybe, above all of the others. Of course, I was growing in my spirituality, so it was extremely important to me to understand what I believed and things of that sort. But over the last year, I would say that my values of knowledge and self-awareness are booming with importance, particularly because the launch of my holistic wellness business with my husband. I obviously have to be super knowledgeable and incredibly self-aware if I want to guide others in becoming the best version of themselves. So the rest of my values are supported in the same endeavor of launching this business, but sometimes we shift them according to what's needed for us or of us at the time. So step 2, pretty simple, straightforward, very, very important. Don't let it fool you just because we only spent a couple minutes on this. This is probably the most important part of this envisioning process. This step is crucial because if you lack awareness of your values and what's most important to you right now at this point in time, you might find yourself making the same mistakes I see so many people make, like setting up goals for the sheer fact that you feel like you should do them, or because someone told you it's what you should do, rather than setting goals you genuinely want or need in your life. So keep your values close to you, because in the next video we're going to start dreaming, probably one of the most fun parts of the Courageous Visions process. And we want to ensure that your dreams align with your fundamental driving forces and, of course, your most authentic self. So honestly, it really helps me to have my core values written down somewhere, but if you want to take this up even the next level, make a huge, if you have a whiteboard, write all of your values, your top 5 to 7, and maybe 10, no more than 10 though, because then it starts to get a little bit confusing. Write them big on whiteboards, or you can get creative and draw them and make them all pretty and put them on your wall. This is going to help you keep focus on what's important to you, not what others tell you should do, but what's important to you. The real you, the inside you, that's who I'm talking about. Not the you that you've created because everybody else told you who to be or how to be, okay? That's it for the second step in the 7-step Courageous Visions process featured in my Envisioning the Future exercise over the course of the next week. Join me in the next video for step 3, dreaming up your ideal future. I'd love to hear your experience and your answers to these questions, so please, please, please write them in the comments below of this video so I can get to know you and know what's most important to you at this point in your life. All right, see you in the next video.